What's going on, everybody? This is John Jake Gaming on for Mike here, coming at you with the senior season of Maurice Royal Jr. here on the Oklahoma High School football mod, utilizing that NCAA 2014. We've made it to our senior season, but we're looking to reverse some trends here in our senior campaign. We have been going backwards since when we stepped on campus. I had that promising freshman season where we ran for over 1,200 yards. Hardly we've ran for 1,200 yards in the last 2 years, but looking to reverse that here in our final season here at Norman North High School. But the good news is we start out as a 95 overall, so we have plenty of chances to come out here and really prove that, hey, we are that person and we're not to be messed around with. So real excited to get into the senior season campaign, hoping to come out here and show that we are certified him, and I hope you guys are excited for this senior campaign. If you are, make sure you go ahead and do a couple of things for me. Smack that like button, hit that subscribe button as well if you happen to be brand new, and let's go ahead and check a couple of things out before we dive into that senior season. So in our senior season campaign, not only will we have our normal duties of being the starting running back for the Norman North Timberwolves, but in addition to that, we actually will also have more duties on our hands as well. We are going to be the starting kick returner for the Norman North Timberwolves this upcoming senior campaign, and not only that, we will also be the starting punt returner as well for the Timberwolves of Norman North High School. So we'll have plenty more touches and plenty more opportunities to make something shake. And with that being said, we have more responsibility in terms of providing a spark for our team in our final season in high school. And in our senior season of high school, we actually will start things out here with a tougher schedule than usual. Our strength of schedule is a B-, which I think is the toughest schedule that we've had since we've entered high school, to be honest with you. This is what we got going on though. Start out with 5 home games in a row: John Marshall, Piedmont in non-conference, Edmond North outside of our sectional play as well. We'll get to play, and that should be an exciting matchup in particular because they're the number 8 team in the state. And then we'll start immersing ourselves into sectional play once again. This time we open up versus Fairview at home, and then we'll take on teams like Sand Springs, Bridge Creek, Stroud, the usual suspects, until at the very end of the season we'll take on the Bristol Pirates for the second time in, I believe, our 4 years here. We're going to take on Bristol in one of our last games of the season, so I'm really excited to jump into that. Really looking forward to the opportunity. And with that being said, let's not waste any more time. Let's go ahead and dive right into our first game against John Marshall. Alright, man, so first game of the season that we got going on here against John Marshall. And here's one thing about John Marshall: these guys suck. These guys suck tremendously, particularly on the offensive side of the ball. So we should be able to have our way pretty easily, and hopefully this does give us plenty of opportunities to be able to score and, pad our stats early on in the season. As our first touch of our senior year is going to be a catch over the middle. I get walloped by the linebacker, but you know what? We watch our hockey highlights. We're a tough kid. And so we're going to be able to make that 7-yard catch, able to set up an eventual first down. However, our first carry of the game is going to go for a gain of 5 there. Able to get us closer to that first down marker, where I'll take the run to the left-hand side. Able to get into the open field. And that's going to be a first down for us here, man, as we try to punch it in down by the goal line. As we're going to have Six Killer go ahead and pick up some yards, but I get hurt. And our worst fears come to fruition as we suffer a concussion on a play that doesn't even involve me. So going to be out for the rest of this game, and my worst fears are already starting to become true, apparently. Luckily for us, we were able to find a way to win this game pretty handily, 33-14. Although it is quite a shame that I actually missed the rest of this game. It was a promising first drive that we had. I thought we were going to go crazy, but that's just simply not what happened here. But the one silver lining in this game, even though we didn't get to play very long, one drive to be exact with you, I was effective with my touches. 4 carries for 19 yards, so around 5 yards a carry. And then I was also able to get a reception for 7 yards as well. So while it sucks that we literally got hurt in the first drive of the game, I am happy that we're able to win. And I'm also happy with the amount of usage that I got in that first drive. We just got to be able to stay healthy for once, man. So here's hoping I have a little bit better of injury luck, so to speak, as we now have our second game of my senior campaign, taking on the Piedmont Wildcats. Now, if you thought John Marshall was bad, oh baby, Piedmont might actually be worse. Like, John Marshall was terrible, but Piedmont is just down bad. This might be a middle school football team, to be honest with you, as we're going to go ahead and run it up the middle and pick up a few yards there to get things started here. Trying to establish that run early. We'll see if they go to me early and often. And sure enough, they do, as I bounce this one out to the outside briefly. And we'll go ahead and pick up a first down for our Timberwolves. Later on in the drive, I get another carry at this football here. Third carry already. You love to see it, as I get a nice little juke move. Thought they had me on the contain, but they were certainly wrong there, as it eventually does lead to a goal line opportunity where we're going to go ahead and punch it in. Touchdown MR2, as Maurice Royal Jr. is going to find the end zone, and we'll take that early lead. So we already got one touchdown to our name. Let's see if we can get another one on our name possibly, as we could be in for quite the day if we can keep ourselves active and healthy throughout this one. Averaging close to 7 yards a carry in the ball game, as we're going to go ahead and take the carry up the middle, and we're going to pick up another gain of 7 on the run. You know, not a big thing for, you know, us to get that big time run yet, but what we are doing is we're just wearing them down slowly but surely as we get close to the goal line yet again. Another 7-yard carry for us here. As now, 2nd and 3 coming up, as we're going to step in and block real quick. And our quarterback's got plenty of time. And I honestly don't know what this guy's name is, to be honest with you. His name is escaping me. This is one of the newer guys that's just been promoted to varsity, getting a touchdown in his varsity debut. Love to see it, man. We take a 17-0 lead because of it. And we have a chance to score yet again here. 2-minute drill here, but yet coach puts the ball in our hands, and we nearly pick up the first down, closing in on 60 yards on the day. As now, MR2 is going to go ahead and run a route. He's going to get into the open field. Thought about fighting for extra yards, but in these 2-minute drills, have to do what we can to try to stay, save time, essentially. It actually does eventually lead to a touchdown. Granted, we weren't necessarily on the field for that, as running backs are not friendly for those 2-minute drills from a passing standpoint. That being said, though, we do have a commanding lead that we're working through, breaking a tackle, and we get into open space yet again as we pick up, I think it was at least 15 yards on that run. We were killing these guys, man. So now, 2nd and short coming up as we get another handoff. Oh, we got a ton of steam here, and I get caught from behind, dude. Oh my goodness, we let them catch us from behind. I should have had my 2nd touchdown of the day, but that was simply not meant to be, I guess. But the bad injury luck strikes us yet again, as this time we end up straining a pectoral, and that means that we are going to be taken out for the rest of this game as well. But that will not stop us from taking down Piedmont, as we'll start the season off 2-0, setting up a big time test here in our next game. And it was a shame that I got hurt in this particular game, because I was well on my way to having a career time day. Could have had like up to 150 yards. I was actually able to play the entire time, so it ended up being a backfield by committee after that. And here's the thing, we also made some good contributions through the air as well. 2 catches, 36 yards, had a touchdown there as well. Really could have been player of the game if we honestly were just able to go ahead and play the whole thing. But unfortunately, that was just not in the cards for us. I am happy that we did get to 2-0 though. But that big time test that we were talking about was Edmond North coming onto campus. Friday Night Lights features us against the number 6 team in all of Oklahoma. We are not yet ranked, even though we are 2-0 to start the season. So this is a big opportunity for us to really garner some major respect in the state of Oklahoma. So let's see what we can do in this possible legacy game, but we are not going to get off on the right foot at all, as our quarterback's going to throw an interception and take it all the way back to the crib. It's a touchdown for Edmond North, as the Huskies, well, they are going to quickly jump out to a 14-0 lead after we give up the opening possession touchdown as well. So let's see if our guys can get back at it here late in the first quarter, as we're going to take the handoff, able to find some running room for the first time in a minute, as running against this Edmond North team has been really difficult to do. But maybe we're starting to figure some things out here a little bit, as we will take yet another carry up the gut, trying to make a couple of guys miss, but I'm going to go down with an injury. And at this point, I really have to consider myself the unluckiest player in the planet, because this injury is again another concussion. So it's my second concussion of the season already. Of course, this is going to take me out for the rest of the game. So having to leave with a mild concussion was an extremely difficult pill to swallow, as Edmond North is going to run over your Timberwolves here. We lose this game 49-22, and that does mean that, hey, we are actually going to drop our very first game of the entire season. Definitely a tough one to swallow, and I'm not going to worry about showing stats here, because to be honest with you, we didn't do very much in this game, unfortunately, because of the fact that we got injured so early. So we're just gonna go ahead, shake it right off like a Taylor Swift song, and jump right into the next game that we have, where we are back at home yet again. We've been very blessed with these home game opportunities so far. We got Fairfield coming into town. Now this is a sectional matchup here, as we'll get things started here. 2nd and 20, so we've been put in a little bit of a cursed spot, to be honest with you. Will be very surprised if we actually get out of it, and it seems like we actually did. So much favorable field position here later in this first quarter of action, as we're going to bowling ball our way to a 6-yard gain on the play. Unfortunately, that drive would eventually stall out, as we go ahead and run a little bit of halfback dive on the next possession that picks up a gain of 7 for us. So far, we're closing in on about 100 yards rushing here, so not a bad day, so to speak, but we are still down 7-3, though, as we're going to get the opportunity to take the kickoff return down the sideline. The Super Dive Cheese does bail him out there quite a bit, but I don't do much else here in this second quarter until about a minute left, when we came in and blocked for our quarterback, as Charles comes down with it, man. Let's go, baby. One of the new guys on the team making a play, and they're certainly making the most of that opportunity. So we will take a 10-7 lead into halftime, and after that, our quarterback Camden Six Killer really starts to come out, and he really starts to find a serious rhythm. Six Killer comes in with a big time throw down the sideline, able to find Jackson Lundquist for a 76-yard scamper into the end zone, as that will help us extend the lead tremendously. But just when we thought we were going to take control of this game, we try to set up the screen over to the left-hand side. It's intercepted. This could go the distance. Thankfully, we were able to bring them down from behind, but just a disappointing act to see, as Steve Hill single-handedly gets Fairfield right back into the game. And it gets to a point where this game is actually going to be all tied up. We got ourselves a serious battle on our hands. 2nd and 4 coming up, which is going to be in to Fro, as we'll make the catch down the right-hand side, as that will pick up the first down for the Timberwolves. Got less than a few minutes left to play, though, as our last drive really stalled out, but Hey, so did Fairview's last drive as well. So we have a chance to come out and possibly win the game. We'll see how our coach wants to play it out. It looks like they're going to give me a chance to run the ball down the sideline. Going to get it out of bounds there for a gain of 7. And that will eventually set up the game-winning field goal. We are able to take down Fairview in a little bit ugly manner. I thought we were heavily favored in this game, and I feel like we kind of just assumed that we can just roll out the headgear and beat Fairview. Didn't necessarily happen. Almost dropped this game, but we found a way to win regardless though. So even though I did not put together a 100-yard rushing game, I'm just happy that we made it through an entire game in the first place. And we had a big load too. No diddy on that. 86 yards rushing, it's not terrible, but I'd like to have been more efficient with the carries that we did end up having. I did end up contributing a catch for 5 yards as well, so hopefully I can continue to string together some games to where I can actually be fully healthy for an entire game. If we can manage to do that, I think we could have a much better second half to my senior campaign. So let's see if we can play at a higher level, not only for myself, but as a team as well, as we're here at home once again. Yes, those home games come hot and heavy for us. This time we're taking on this Enid squad, and this Enid squad feels like could be a recipe for maybe us having a big day today. They're giving up over 200 yards on the ground per game. It could be an MR2 moment, but we're going to start with a kick return here as we have some initial busted coverage, but we are able to turn lemons into lemonade though, as we were able to go and bring it out to the 35-yard line. So a good start for us Timberwolves, as we're going to start with the first carry of the game. Able to pick up a gain of 7 right away. And just like that, the tone is going to be set, or at least so I thought, because we actually struggled and, dare I say it, maybe sleepwalk through some of this first quarter. As we're through the majority of this first quarter, we actually only got one other carry. Granted, I made the most of that carry, but like, you saw what we needed to do. We got to run the ball, and they're not letting me run the ball. You know what I'm saying? Like, it was a little bit of frustrating game plan, to be honest with you. I don't know what my coach was thinking here, but in the second quarter, I was able to see a little bit more action here as I get my first catch of the game. But on a 3rd and long, had to pass it, obviously. But thankfully, we pick up that first down, though. However, throwing over the middle as I cut towards midfield, get into my quarterback's sight line, as it will help with getting our squad into the red zone, where we are going to punch it in. Our quarterback, Camden Sixkiller, he is going to keep it on the scramble, and we're going to be able to get a touchdown out of it. Now, 15-6 is your score here, as we're going to try to add one more score onto the board before we get into that halftime for us here in Enid. But with 1:33 left to play, might be throwing the ball a little bit more. I stay in the block briefly. Psych! I actually go out and run around and pick up a first down with it as well. Able to take our time a little bit more, as we still have 2 timeouts to work with, as Sixkiller will drop back. He's going to look over the middle, and I make the catch nearly for yet another first down, where Enid feels the need to take a timeout. We'll see if we can get open yet again here as we go to the left-hand side. And Sixkiller finds his receiver for yet another touchdown. Sixkiller is able to get his second passing toss of the day. And we're able to go crazy here, man. You love to see it. And that will help us extend the lead before going into halftime. With that being said, jumping into the second half, got that 22-6 lead as I get a chance to return this punt, as we're able to get some nice blocks here. Cut it to the outside. Oh, we might be in some open space. Let me cut it back in. Okay, 28-yard return, baby. That's what I'm talking about, man. Don't play with me, man. As we're going to get a chance to run the ball right after that. You're able to follow the blocks pretty well, and nearly pick up a first down because of it as well. Maybe we're starting to get some more love in action here, as we're going to run it right up the gut yet again, as we're going to follow our blocks once more. Able to pick up a gain of 5, but I don't feel like I could have ran that a little bit better, right? Like, didn't follow the hole that well. No Diddy there. And so we'll get another chance to run for a first down. But that would be my last notable carry here in the third quarter. But still, with 3.5 minutes left, I still have a shot to get 100 yards on the ground, as we'll go ahead and run forward for a gain of 6. But we would go on and run out the rest of his clock, though, as we'll go on and win 29-12, being your final score in this one, as the Timberwolves get back to those winning ways. So I put together a mostly another healthy game this time around. Ran for 18 carries and 70 yards, while Camden's 6 killer did run for 82 and a touchdown. However, I was a big factor in the receiving game. I had 4 catches for 35 yards in the game, and that was the second most on the entire team. So we'll get things going now, as we have a rare road game awaiting for us, as we'll make the trip over to Sand Spring High School to take on the Sandites of Sand Springs. And Sand Springs is going to be looking to try to control that top possession, being one of the better rush offenses in Oklahoma high school football. So we'll go ahead and get things started here. Sand Springs did get the opening possession and score, but my first opportunity, I'm taking it down the sideline, and I'm taking it for a pretty good gain. We get it down to about the 40-yard line, so we're looking good, man. We're looking clean, as we end up going with a different approach, actually deciding to, throw the football a lot, and we will soon answer back with an opening touchdown, as we will tie things up against Sand Springs, all knotted up at 7 apiece here now. Meanwhile, in the second quarter, still got the same score in the game so far, as I get a rare carry to actually move the football downfield. It's for a decent gain, for a gain of 6, and yes, you're reading that correctly. I was on that field for most of the first quarter, and literally, my coach was allergic to running the ball. I mean, running the ball is the key to controlling the game, and yet only giving me 2 possessions, absolutely crazy. But even with those limited opportunities, I still make the most of what I was given. So now here we are with a 2nd and long, as we're trying to move it out to the right hand side. I get some decent blocks downfield, as we'll help pick up a first down and get to about midfield there. Or on the very next play, I take the carry on the halfback draw, and the halfback draw goes pretty well for us. Another gain of 7 yards on the play. 3rd and long coming up, though, as we're going to be looking to move things out into the motion. I break a tackle and somehow find a way to pick up that first down there. You'll love to see it, as we're looking for that 1st and 10, going to bounce it outside. Now we're really starting to have some more carries here late in the game, really starting to heat up at the right time, as we're going to be looking to try to put this game away once and for all. They decide to punt over to us with 2 minutes to go, as MR2 is going to run down the sideline, and we get to about midfield. But you know what the key is. Pick up a couple of first downs. This game is over, and we just about do that. We would go on and win 27-21, being your final score, as we'll notch our first road victory of the season during my senior campaign with Norman North High School. So to be honest with you, even though I only had carries in the 2nd and 4th quarters of this game, I thought I had a pretty solid game all in all. While I had the least number of carries because of injuries, as well as game plan perspective type deals, at the same time though, I also essentially led the team in catches today. 4 catches, only one other person even had 4 catches in this game, and that was our junior classmate Corey Simpson. So listen, even though I wasn't really a part of this game plan, I still did my best to really leave my mark on this game, and we're happy to get another win. So hopefully I'll actually be able to carry the ball more than a handful of times, as we now get ready for our next matchup that happens to also be against a sectional opponent. We're taking on Bridge Creek, and Bridge Creek is pretty Defensively, we're not really worried about them defensively for sure, as first couple carries of the game, really seems to show that we're going to set a tone offensively here. This Bridge Creek team doesn't seem like it's really all that ready for our physicality, as we'll go ahead and run the ball with myself yet again, able to pick up a decent chunk of yards, but not feeling myself though. And I don't know how I pulled this off. I legitimately might be the unluckiest person on the face of the earth at this point. But on that halfback screen, I bruised my sternum, and I'm out for the rest of this game as well. So don't even get to complete a whole drive in this one, and I'm done for the rest of the day. And seeing myself go out of the game so freaking early is such a tough pill to swallow. Thankfully, our guys were able to bail it out for us as we do go on and win 36-29. But with that being said, gotta be on the field so much more for this next matchup, because in my opinion, this Stroud team is a little bit better than advertised. Stroud is coming in with one of the top rushing offenses in the country, but they can't really pass the ball to save their lives. So we can start out strong here and force Stroud to be on the back foot offensively. I think we'll really be set up for success here in this particular matchup, as we actually am able to survive for more than a drive somehow, as we'll go ahead and run the ball up the middle, and that's going to go for a gain of 5 on the play, a 5-yard gain that is going to help get us close to a first down. But 4th and 5, they want to go for it here. I bounce off one defender, and they give us the first down. Wow, that was certainly a extremely close call. I'm actually surprised that we're able to get that first down. We would go on and we would end up getting a field goal after that. But that being said, we are able to get a huge run to end the first quarter. If we can keep this up, we might have over 150 yards rushing, which would be at least a season high for us here. But we'll see if we can get some red zone opportunities. But instead, quarterback is going to keep it, and Camden 6-killer is going to find the end zone. Touchdown, Timberwolves. And we will take the lead here in the early part of this second quarter. The very next drive coming up, though, as we still have the same score. I'm going to go ahead and take the handoff. Able to get a little bit ahead of steam as we're able to navigate through that muddy offensive line. Able to find some holes to run through as we're able to pick up the first down. But then on the halfback screen, I am wide butt naked open. And we're able to turn that for a gain of 11. And that would be good for my first catch of the day. But it seems to be the same song, same dance, as Camden 6-killer makes the right decision and runs it into the end zone. Touchdown, Timberwolves, as we're going to be able to pull away here a little bit from Stroud. Maybe we can build some comfort so we can run the ball a little bit more, but that would require us to get a stop on defense now, wouldn't it? But I get a kickoff return here, about a minute left, bounce it to the outside, and we're able to get some good field position for our quarterback and company before the end of the half. Fortunately, couldn't really do anything with it. We don't score any points on our final drive of the first half, and so we'll have to settle with this 17-14 lead. That being said, we're quietly putting together a pretty good performance here as we're closing in on 100 total yards, but we're also not getting into the end zone touches yet again, as Camden 6-killer is going to throw yet another one down to the outside for a touchdown. He's actually going to set the single career record for most passing yards in a career. One of only 2 quarterbacks here at Norman North High School that has over 14,000 yards. So shout out to, our freshman classmate, the A1 since day one, you know what I'm saying? But that being said, we do have a lead here late in the third quarter. Let's see if we can try to hold on to it here now, as we're going to get a chance to possibly do something here in the third. Wide butt naked open, as we're going to be able to stumble forward in order to go ahead and pick up that first down. 2nd and 4 coming up, though, as this could be a running opportunity for us, and it is. Following our blocks downfield, and we pick up a gain of 9. A good first down run for us there. As now, 2nd and long coming up. We got the screen set up. I got the block set up. Can I get the first down set up? Not quite, but Still pretty good catch there, as we now have 3 catches for 33 yards on the day. But with 3 minutes left to play here, this is our time to shine. Trying to run out the rest of this clock. And we're trying to put this game away once and for all. We're going to run the ball up the gut. And look at this insane hole that we get. Good for a gain of 11 there. As now we'll have yet another first down that we can work through. Just sucking the life out of his Stroud team right now. And no doubt about that here. Just going absolutely crazy here on this final drive. As our coach decides to pass the ball, which I thought was weird. But hey, you know, I was listed as the primary receiver, so I'm not going to complain. We eventually get a field goal out of that, and we're able to ultimately put away the Stroud Tigers as we end up winning 34-17, putting up one of the best scores of the season. So while I didn't end up with the player of the game like I wanted to, we did end up with our best game of the season so far. I think this is the first time that I've had a 100-yard rushing game, 21 carries for 111 yards, and we once again tied the team for catches in this one as we had 4 catches for 45 yards. So love to see that we're continuing to contribute, and for once, we actually had a healthy game as well. So always love to see that too. But we'll go ahead and get ourselves back on the road once again, as we'll be taking on Lincoln Christian. Lincoln Christian, of course, falling within our sectional, as we're starting to creating a little bit of noise for ourselves. We're finally getting some respect on our names. We're ranked number 21 in the state. I think this is the first time that we've been ranked all year. It took us long enough to get here, but hey, I'm glad that we got there. But Lincoln Christian is not going to just roll around and just give us an easy win, right? Even with an insufferable season that the Crusaders have suffered. That being said, they certainly came to play, as we're down 7-0 here early, but we're going to take the handoff as one of the captains of this team, and we're going to pick up a few yards here to get this party started. 5-yard gain on the play is going to set up a 3rd and 5. 3rd and 5 now as we get open across the middle, and unfortunately, I literally lose my footing. Man, I could have literally taken that to the crib, but no, they did not want to do that for me at all. So instead, you know, we still had a good play, but we didn't have like a great play, you know what I'm saying? But like, we'll just have to keep it rolling here from here on out, as we are able to, you know, find some running room for the first time today. That was something that was a little difficult for us to really take care of in that first quarter. But in the second quarter, I get a chance to return a punt as we get some nice blocks downfield. Let's see if we can make a guy miss, and sure enough, we do. We're able to actually make quite a few guys miss there, and we had a great punt return that's going to have us inside the 35-yard line. So, of course, you already know this coaching staff's got to reward me with some more carries. I'm able to pick up a gain of 6 there on the play. As now, 1st and 10 coming right up, as we're going to go ahead and... No, it's not going to be pitched out. We fumble the ball on the ground. And that's a tough pill to swallow. And that's not even the worst of what we saw happen. And my non-injury streak does end up going to an end, as we end up bruising the shoulder. And this bruised shoulder ends up being so severe that not only am I going to miss the rest of this game, but I'm going to miss the next couple of games that are going to happen after that as well. A really tough break for your boy in his senior campaign. And it was just one of those things where not a lot was going right for us, but it certainly was going right for Lincoln Christian. We're going to be stunned by the Crusaders. We lose 28-21. And so that could really demolish our chances to go to the state playoffs at this point of the year. But even before I managed to hurt myself in the game in a tough way, it was hard to find running room against this Lincoln Christian team. I thought there was going to be a cakewalk, and frankly, I was wrong on the ground. Only managing 7 carries for 18 yards in the game. I did end up making a couple of nice plays in the receiving game, however, where I ended up with 2 catches and 19 yards before I ended up exiting in that first half. Now, while any notable chance of us going to the state playoffs is likely going to go down the drain because of that shocking loss to Lincoln Christian, we're able to keep ourselves alive in the sectional championship hunt. We beat the Moore Lions 42-35, and then go on the road and beat Ponca City 52-10. It does set up a generational matchup for a chance to go to the sectional championship game between us and the number 2 ranked Bristol Pirates. If we can win this game, we go to the sectional championship. If we lose, then that means our senior year is over, and that means that we will have played our last football game at Norman North High School. Can we put together a generational and legacy defining performance on the road? Let's go check that out now. And I gotta say, it feels really good to be back in this particular game here, man, because this one has a ton of importance for us, man. Number 2 team in the state, the Bristol Pirates. They are in the midst of an undefeated season right now, and we have a chance to go out and play some spoiler. So let's see if we can do exactly that, as we're going to start by having a run over to the left-hand side. Going to make the quick catch, but it seems clear from the very beginning that this Bristol team, well, they like to hit pretty hard. Thankfully for me, you know, I am certainly more than capable of going out and trying to hit even harder myself. We're not afraid of a little bit of contact. Even with my injury history, we aren't ready to, you know, to go out there and show that we're scared of these guys, man. And so we're hanging around with Bristol here. We haven't scored yet, but slowly but surely, we're going to wear down this Bristol team. That's certainly the end goal. Even if my yards per carry might not be very high at the moment, I could sure be one of those things where as the game goes on, we'll get even better of a runner, right? As we're going to pick up a gain of 10 there. But right before the end of the half, we have a chance to take the lead. We're able to get a good block in, and our quarterback's going to find Charles in the middle of the field on the slant pattern. And not only will we take the lead, but our senior classmate's going to set the record for most passing touchdowns in his career. That's his 141st. So now we have ourselves a 17-14 lead here in the second half, and we make that linebacker look silly. Oh, he thought he was going to get us in that gap. That's not how it works, little bro. You can call me daddy this Father's Day, as we'll go ahead and continue to drive. Thought the drive was going to come to install? Nah, it's not going to happen like that. And so, 3rd and 4. Chance to extend the lead, as we're going to be able to make a catch in the open field and keep the drive alive. And eventually, we're going to be able to go ahead and cash in, as Sixkiller is going to throw over the middle. Finds his receiver for the touchdown. And just like that, our lead is going to be extended even further. So 24-14 is going to be your score, as we now jump into that 4th quarter of action, as we're looking to get spicy with it here in this 4th quarter. This is a type of scenario where I just really shine, man. 4th quarter, we got the lead, and we are starting to really wear these guys down. I told you I was going to get better as the game goes on, and now we are averaging well over 5 yards a carry. Just averaging like a first down every couple of runs. And that don't mean we can also throw it every once in a while too. I get my 5th catch of the day, as we're now closing into about 4 minutes left in the ball game, as we break a tackle, as almost managed to get ourselves back on our feet. The ref was willing to actually allow us to play that out, and eventually I get my chance to shine. 2nd and goal, got a chance to score here, and I will. First touchdown since legitimately like the 2nd game of the season, bro. We have been down horrendous. Like, we have just had bad touchdown luck this year for whatever reason. But that being said, we should be able to put this game away as long as I don't fumble the football at this point. And even though I didn't really score on that run, that which kind of sucks, I'm not going to lie, we don't need the score, because now Bristol is out of timeouts. We're going to be able to kneel it out afterwards, and we are going to be going to the sectional championship game after stunning Bristol on the road 31-22. and we had a nice little legacy game there as well.
Now, even though I didn't get player of the game, this was exactly the legacy game that I was looking for. Bruised and battered, not 100%, lost some of my speed from over the years of injuries, but yet I still came out and balled. 25 carries for 141 yards and a touchdown on the ground. It is our best game yet in our senior season. And we also tied for the most catches on the team as well. We ended up with 5 catches and 34 yards in our rivalry matchup against Bristol. And we will upset the number 2 team in the state of Oklahoma, and doing it on the road as well. You'll love to see it.
So let's see what we can do here in that sectional championship matchup, as we'll be taking on Deer Creek. Deer Creek, actually another really good team in the state of Oklahoma as well. Number 7 in the state. But because we did have a better record in sectional play, we are actually be hosting the sectional championship game at our home stadium. So that's going to be a huge boost for us as we try to pull off our second upset in the last couple of weeks. And we are starting off pretty dang good, man, as Camden Six Killer is going to find his tight end for the touchdown. Also, shout out to your Boyvo as we're able to get a pretty good block down and take that 7-0 lead. That being said, Deer Creek is going to respond as they'll get a touchdown of their own. But on the ensuing kickoff, though, I'm able to bounce this out to the outside, able to find some running room, and will be able to get across the 35-yard line, as that will take us through the end of the first quarter. As now, 2nd and 11 coming up as I go over to the right-hand side. Royal's going to try, make a couple of guys miss there, and while we didn't fully make a miss, we managed to pick up a few extra yards because of that. So we bought ourselves a little bit of extra time because of that particular run. And we're putting together just a really good game here. Just really making the right plays, making the right reads. Just not doing anything too crazy here, as our quarterback is going to be able to take off on the read option. I was a great decoy for our quarterback, as we will be able to go ahead and take this into the end zone. Touchdown, Timberwolves. And we're going to be up 14-7. However, that being said, later in the second quarter, Deer Creek does not get a chance to answer the bell, as they had to go ahead and punt the ball back over to us. We have a rare opportunity to pull away here in the sectional championship game. And, you know, if we can make enough noise, maybe we could still sneak into that state playoff, extend that high school career just a little bit longer. But I feel like we would need to dominate Deer Creek for sure if we would want that to happen. Maybe a drive like this could certainly help us out, as we are in Deer Creek territory once again. 1st and goal, looking over the right hand side, and finds Jackson Winquist in the end zone. Touchdown, Timberwolves. And we are giving it to the number 7 team in the state of Oklahoma right now. We are really handling our business as of right now. But there is still a whole half of football that needs to be played. We're up pretty well, up 24-7, as they leave me wide but naked open yet again. A nice little 10-yard scamper to get the juices flowing here in this second half. However, on a 2nd and 17, I've decided to run it up the gut. I get caught in the backfield, and we are going to be a little bit shaken up, unfortunately. But of course, in our little fashion, man, our unluckiness continues. We get another concussion, man. Another mild concussion. This has to be at least our 3rd concussion of the season. Just have not had any luck with the head injuries at all. That being said, our sectional championship game is done, and that just means that we just have to wait and see whether our guys do enough to bring the title home. But it's all going to end well for us, as we'll finish off a dominating performance against Deer Creek. We end up winning 41-7, creating some noise in our final game of the season. Now, on the ground in our final game of our high school career, we weren't very effective on the ground. 9 carries, 26 yards. The backfield of Deer Creek actually did a pretty good job of keeping us in check. but we felt like we made much more of an impact in the receiving game, where we ended up with 3 catches and 37 yards. So our hot streak at the end of the season was still not enough for us to make the state playoffs, so our sectional championship game was where things came to an end. While I was able to play a little bit better overall in my senior year, able to have more rushing yards for the first time since, really, ever, we did not live up to what we did in our freshman year, never at any point. However, what I am able to say is that we did finish our high school career with over 3,000 rushing yards and 17 touchdowns as well. So we're not a bad player, but I definitely wanted to prove that, hey, we were definitely capable of playing Power 5 football, right? That was a no-doubter in our minds whatsoever. I did also end with 1,100 rushing yards and 9 touchdowns as well to end my high school career as well. So did end up finishing with 26 total touchdowns, over 4,000 total yards of offense, and that doesn't even count what I did in the kick return game. In the kick return game, I had 672 total yards in the kick returns and 296 yards on punt returns on this season alone. So with that being said, because of how things ended up shaking out for us, we do end up being a 2-star prospect. We do have 1 scholarship offer though. We could go and be a running back at Arkansas State, but we have a few other intriguing options that we could have as well. For example, I also have interest from Arkansas, Colorado State, and New Mexico. But instead of being a running back, I would transition over to tight end, because I do end up having a little bit of a growth spurt after the football season. So with that being said, we have a few options on the table, but now it makes me wonder what you guys think. Let me know down in the comment section what I should do for my college career. Should I go and be a running back in the Sun Belt, or should I go ahead and pursue some of the other options that might be on the table for me? With that being said, thank you guys so much for enjoying this mini series, and maybe, just maybe, I'll see you guys in EA College Football 25 next month. Take care, everybody.